welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton. And today we are going to talk about a milestone that Thomas Nelson Community College has achieved. They're celebrating their 50th year, and the institution has changed a lot in that time. Here to tell us about it is Dr. John Dever. Welcome back.
Robin, it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thomas Nelson is one of those places that has been there as long as I've been here. I'm older than that, but it's an institution that I just don't think of what things were like before it. So tell me how it got started and what those first years were like.
Well, Thomas Nelson was started as part of the Virginia Community College system back in the 1960s. The political leadership at the time saw the need for the Commonwealth to have a system of community colleges that would provide access for all members of our community to the benefits of higher education that would be affordable and that would be accessible because it would be located in their communities.
And really changed the landscape in a lot of ways.
It really did. And before that time, you look into the history of the Commonwealth, we were kind of looking to the past. And several of the major political leaders, Governor Albertus Harrison, Governors Mills Godwin, Governor Godwin then worked very hard at that time to work with the legislature and others to move us forward. The business community was particularly behind this and advocating and saying we're going to be left behind unless more of our citizens are educated, both for baccalaureate education and for workforce and careers. So that was the beginning. So you had that
joint mission from the very beginning.
The very beginning, we were comprehensive, both providing the first 2 years of baccalaureate education so students could move on to the universities and complete their baccalaureate degree, but also providing a whole series of career programs that were tailored to the needs of the individual communities. And so 23 community colleges were set up in the mid-1960s. I think the last one was Reynolds Community College in Richmond.
That's funny. I would have guessed that the Capitol would have gotten theirs first.
Right, but that was 1972. Thomas Nelson got going in 1967 in terms of laying the cornerstone and constructing the buildings, and the first classes began in September 1968.
That's pretty quick. We don't usually move that quickly in government. So what was that like then? The cornerstone is a key moment that we're marking.
Right, and I think we have a picture of that. If we could put that up on the screen, we consider this to be an iconic picture for Thomas Nelson. The gentleman on the left there is our first chancellor, Dana Hamill. And he was the person who Governor Albertus Harrison and then Governor Mills Godwin charged to set up the community college system. He got all 23 colleges going.
Wow.
He was the person who selected the presidents who for each one of those and worked with them and worked with the community leaders. Dana Hamill is still living. He's 94 years old.
That's the man in the center.
And he actually got to visit us at our historic Triangle campus a couple years ago. It was a wonderful time to spend with him and to talk about those early days. The man in the middle is Eugene Sidner. He was the first chair of the State Board for Community Colleges, and he's a former state senator. And the man on the right, I'd like to call particular attention to for your audience, is T. Melvin Butler. He's the man in the bow tie. He was the first chair of the Thomas Nelson Community College Board for 9 years, from 1967 to 76. Mr. Butler has a strong connection with the history of our region, and particularly with the city of Hampton. In the 1940s, he was the chief personnel officer at NASA Langley Research Center, then known as NACA, at that particular time. And he was the person who, during World War II, was hard-pressed to provide the workforce that was needed for the war effort in which then NACA played such a major part in terms of our air power and what was going on. Because of that, he was the person who helped played a major role in breaking the barriers on gender and race in terms of the employees at NASA. And if you look into Margot Shetterly's book, Hidden Figures, Chapter 1, first sentence, Melvin Butler had a problem, is what she starts off with, and describes what those challenges were.
And a lot of people wouldn't have solved the problem that way. I mean, he truly was a groundbreaker.
Yes, he really was, and she gives him credit for that. So
but he also served the city of Hampton. I have to get that plug in as well.
After he retired from NASA, he went on to be a member of the city council for 18 years and served as vice mayor for 2 terms during that time period. So Thomas Nelson feels very, very fortunate to have had him at the beginning, serving as our chair, and really setting the vision, helping set that vision for the college, which has always been, we are here to serve the needs of this community, to provide educational opportunity for all so that they can go as far as they want to go, with particular attention to making sure that we support our employer community with those students who are preparing for the careers that are needed here on the Virginia Peninsula.
Now, we in Hampton think of you as a local institution, but you're local to other localities as well.
Yes,
you're kind of centrally located there by the interstate.
Right. Our service area is the total Virginia Peninsula, and so the 4 cities, Hampton, Newport News, Poquoson, and Williamsburg, and the 2 counties, York and James City. And so the location that we have is really was a great decision at the time. Back then, by the way, in the 60s, the Hampton Road Center Parkway wasn't there.
Right.
And so actually, although it was right along I-64, it was actually hard to get to.
A little trick, yeah, you had to get off on some
when the Hampton Road
roads.
Center Parkway came in the late 80s, early 90s, then, of course, the access was much better at that time. Of course, another major thing that has occurred is since then has been the expansion to the Upper Peninsula, with our historic Triangle campus that's opened in Lightfoot right outside of Williamsburg in 2009.
Yeah, big boom to population in the last 50 years.
We really needed to serve the Upper Peninsula better during that time. And many of our sister community colleges across the state have multiple campuses, but the Hampton campus is the original campus. And we're very fortunate to be there.
So how many students did Thomas Nelson serve that first year, ballpark?
It was less than 1,000, but they were really, we look back at the newspaper articles at the time, people were really excited to take advantage of those opportunities, and they signed up right from the very beginning, and we had a good crowd. Today, we serve over 13,000 students each year at the college in our academic courses, and an additional 5,000 in our workforce training and services that we offer at the college.
That is some pretty impressive growth over that time period. And you've had a lot of growth even recently. I mean, I think as the price of a 4-year college has gone up dramatically, more and more people are choosing to save money, because it's not just the tuition, it's the room and board if you have to go live somewhere else.
Yeah,
if you can live at home, you can save a lot of money. Yes,
we feel like affordability and accessibility have always been hallmarks of the community college system and of Thomas Nelson. For those students who are pursuing baccalaureate programs, we have guaranteed admission agreements with all the public universities and many of the privates and private universities and 4-year colleges in Virginia. We have a wonderful track record of our students who've gone on to academic success after getting started at Thomas Nelson and look back fondly at their experience with us, the professors that they had, the people who took that personal attention, because we keep our classes small, and the quality of the faculty and their commitment to those first 2 years is so strong. And then for those students who are looking for careers, we have a variety of programs. We've always been strong in the technologies. We've always been strong in health professions and graphic arts, and business services, accounting, public services. administration of justice, human services. All those programs over the years have been very, very strong at the college. Back to NASA Langley, Mr. Butler ensured from the very beginning we had a strong connection with them. And over the years, we have provided over 500 technicians, technologists, and other employees who've really been the backbone of the NASA organization. And those kind of relationships that we established with them, we've also established with many other employers in the community, whether it's Newport News Shipbuilding or Cannon of Virginia or Liebherr or Arconic or Continental and Newport News. All those have been major, major relationships.
Well, and since you mentioned those employers, you know, you're a community college, which means you're located in the community and you serve community residents. And that's how I think of it. But you also serve the community businesses. Because if you're educating people for a job they can't get because it doesn't exist or there's too many of them, and you're not helping those employers get people to work for them, you know, you have this really dual mission that
that's right, yes.
four-year academic institutions don't have. They get to live in not quite an Ivy Tower. I know that's a stereotype, but they, you know, they're more of a pure educational mission a lot of times. Although I think they're having to change a bit too.
We work and we complement each other in that way. But certainly, again, I go back to the very beginning. It was the business community that really pushed the political leadership. We need a community college system because we've got to have the educated workforce and well-trained workforce if we're going to be successful. They recognized it back in the 60s. And even today, I mean, even more today, the Virginia Chamber and others have articulated in what they call Blueprint Virginia 2025.
Right.
Their most pressing need from the very beginning of over everything else is a well-trained and highly educated workforce. And we're there to make that possible.
Jobs have changed so much, and technology is just a key component of almost everything now. And it's, you know, if you are an electrician or a technician or a car repair person, there's a technology component that, you know, it takes a lot more education and a more sophisticated environment. And you guys have adapted to all those changes.
We're particularly giving a lot of attention right now to what's called advanced manufacturing. And of course, that's been a mainstay here on the peninsula. But the type of work has changed greatly. It's no longer the repetitive task that it might have been in the past.
That someone could have done with very limited training.
But you have to have that technology to be able to do so and the mastery of it. And it leads to very, very rewarding careers. So recently we've established a mechatronics program and a machining program that is attracting a lot of young people into those type of careers. They're very exciting. It's not the drudgery. It's challenging.
The robots or whatever can do the repetitive tasks, but we have to troubleshoot the robots.
It's the people who make that happen. And again, you go and talk to the employer community. They need those technicians, technologists, machinists. That is what they need, and we're here to provide that. The other area we've been giving a lot of attention to is cybersecurity, and our programs in that area are very, very strong. Also in our health professions programs, of course, with the aging population, that's very important.
But other people.
Yeah, other people. There you go. There you go. And again, the whole gamut of our programs that we have. We're always trying to keep in connection with the employer community. And again, that goes back to the very beginning of the college.
Well, and let's just mention your Workforce Development Center, because that ties very much into the local businesses and preparing people. So
our Workforce Development Center, located at the Hampton campus, was built in around 2000, 2001. And was really one of the first centers in the state that had that total focus on developing the workforce. We're co-located there with Peninsula WorkLink, which is the agency of the Workforce Investment Board that provides people with opportunities for employment who are seeking employment and for the employers to come there. The Virginia Employment Commission is located there. And we also have Old Dominion University's Peninsula Center on the second floor. So we feel like that Workforce Development Center has played a major role in solidifying that aspect of our mission, which is to make sure employers have the workforce they need and students can pursue the type of careers that they feel like they want to do. We're there to broker between the two of them, and we're very, very pleased to have that center. That's also our location of our precision welding center there. And boy,
clearly that's something that serves the local market.
Yeah,
we have a lot of shipyards in this region, a lot of needs.
Yeah, so many people
welders.
can get started on great careers through that program. It's accelerated, top of the line equipment, first class instruction, and employers waiting at the door to take everyone who completes that program. So we're very, very pleased to have that. We also have a workforce center in Williamsburg as well, again, to go along with our campus there to complement our efforts for the Upper Peninsula.
Wonderful. So you all have really changed and grown and adapted to the changes in the world over the past 50 years, but very much staying true to that original mission that you had.
That's it. And again, it's been a remarkable 50 years. I've actually seen a lot of it. I joined the college as a faculty member back in 1975. I was an instructor of English and was with the college 20 years in that capacity, and in the latter part as an academic administrator. But I got there not with the first wave, but I got there kind of with the second, with the second wave that came in. And so that sense of we are pioneers, we're doing something that really hasn't been done before, making education accessible to all, and serving the larger needs of this community, working in conjunction, again, with our university colleagues and with our employer stakeholders and with our localities. Putting all that together, I've seen it over the years, and it's a remarkable story, and I'm just so pleased that my career has been a part of that.
Well, congratulations and thank you.
Well, Robin, it's always a pleasure to be with you and to share with your audience the news about Thomas Nelson Community College.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a little bit about this institution you may take for granted and think has always been out there serving the community, and learned how they've grown and expanded and fulfilled their mission over the past 50 years and will continue in the future. There are a number of events planned. Stay tuned to their website if you're interested and learn more about those. Thanks for watching.